Alrighty, welcome. This before, and we're going to talk about mindfulness, one of my favorite topics. So let's jump right in. Today we're talking about what is mindfulness and how can we understand it and make it a habit that can stick. In these 5 days is go through, firstly, what is mindfulness and how can we make it a habit? Second day is getting connected with your senses, because actually when we're paying attention, what we're often paying attention to is our senses. And this is something that we often forget that we have. We forget that we're touching, forget that the air is blowing on us, or that the air is going through our lungs. And so it's a big part of mindfulness is our senses. And then creating intentional thought patterns, which basically means understanding what are the recurring thoughts in your mind and being more aware of them so that you can change them if you want, and not getting hindered by them, not getting obstructed by the negative thought patterns, because about 2/3 of the thoughts that we have each day, or even 3/4, are negative or repeated. No, are negative. So what if you could make most of your thoughts helpful instead of just saying positive? How about if they could actually be helpful instead of just having the 90% being unhelpful or negative? And then day 4 is about mastering your breath and unlocking your brain's potential. Oftentimes we think that we're going along the path and we're doing our best, but our brain is designed to protect us, because through the millions of years that humans have evolved, our brain was designed to make sure that we don't die. And that's basically it. And now death or exclusion from a tribe looks very different than when it was back in the day when we were cavemen. And because of that, our brain tries to hold us back from taking actions that might be scary or might lead us closer to death. But it's just a bad comment on a social media post. But that could feel like death to us. And so how can you really go beyond and see what potential your brain has? And then the last day is my favorite day. I want to show you my best gratitude meditation to start the day off with motivation. And it won't be my meditation. I'm going to share with you a very cool pre-designed one that always blows my mind. So today, about mindfulness and how to make it a habit, I just want to give you a brief overview of what it is. And it starts with understanding, why do you want to do it? What's the reason that you come here? And even write this down if you can. Why would you like to learn about mindfulness? Mindfulness is a lot about understanding one's thoughts and being aware of what's going on non-judgmentally. The non-judgmentally part is very important, as oftentimes people come to this with this conception that you have to be, mindfulness is about paying attention, and then when you notice the thoughts, you're like, oh, fuck that thought, I want to not be there. But actually, that's already creating another thought with emotion, and you're triggering the emotion of fear or disgust towards a thought, which doesn't make you feel good, great, right? And that's not what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is understanding that we have all these thoughts within us, and lots of them are automatic. And simply by recognizing them, we can put ourselves outside of our brain and our thoughts and say, okay, so these are the thoughts that are happening. How can I change them? And how can I make them better? And you can only do that with the change starts always with awareness. So being aware of your thoughts is the first step. And the non-judgmental part is very important, because if you're judging it, then it won't change, because you're putting a lot of emotion, negative emotion towards it. So yeah, that's the non-judgmental part. And once you're able to do that, then you're basically, creating the space between you and your thoughts. And you can see what triggers your emotions, what are the thoughts that you tend to get wound up in. Usually people have some dominating positive thoughts, some dominating negative thoughts. And what do you think those are for you? What are the dominating positive thoughts? What are the dominating negative thoughts? Unfortunately, in English, the vocabulary for negative thoughts is a lot bigger than for emotions, than for positive emotions. So we tend to gravitate towards those as well, just through language design. And when I was younger, in high school especially, I used to feel very anxious, like going up to in front of the class. And I'm sure most people were feeling this, but I was especially shy back then compared to most other kids. And had I known about mindfulness or meditation, I think it would have changed me quite a bit. Like, I would not speak up. I would not share my voice. And you can just imagine this little kid sitting in the back of the room with his one friend and hoping that the teacher doesn't point at him to say something. Even though I did get pointed out a few times, those moments were always the scariest. And once it was over, I knew that I wasn't going to die, but it felt like death, because I had to put myself out there to say something that I wasn't prepared. And it was this feeling of, what the fuck am I going to do? And just feeling super tense. So I'm wondering, has anybody ever felt that? It might not be sitting in the back of a classroom, because that can be quite chill. But now it might be something else. It might be handing in a report to the boss, stepping out of the comfort zone, asking out that cute girl or that cute guy. Those are all things that make us a bit anxious. And if you practice mindfulness, then you can see, oh yeah, this is what's happening right now. And you can just get a clear decision. You can make a decision more intentionally to say, okay, I actually want to act this way instead of acting with a fear. And luckily, later in high school, I learned mindfulness and meditation from a friend, not specifically mindfulness, but getting into meditation in different ways. And it started to help a lot to just recognize what were the recurring thoughts in my head, what was happening, what was going on. And after that, I really got into it. And that's why I'm still into it right now, because it's really changed my life. It's really helped me to So enough about mindfulness and that story. I just wanted to show you how powerful it can be, because from super shy kids to here to hopefully speaking on big stages, because that's the dream, and being able to impact as many people as possible, I want to show you how it's possible too. So let's just do a short meditation, because we're only going to take 30 minutes each day to do this meditation, okay? And So that's why it's very important for you to show up, be present. Since it's only 30 minutes, make sure that to be present and to maybe switch off your phone or put it in airplane mode. Because the more you involve yourself, the more you're going to get back. You know that you learn the best when you're involved. And so because of that as well, I want to do a little exercise. So put your phone on silence mode or whatever you need to do in order to be more present. And simply sit back, sit in a chair. If you're driving, of course, don't do this. If you're handling any dangerous equipment or a vehicle, don't do this. But otherwise, just sit back in your chair. Make sure you feel comfortable. You can have your legs crossed or straight, whatever you prefer. And your hands on your lap or on your knees. And we're going to do a very short breath awareness meditation. So this means basically being aware of your breath and your different senses in your body. Okay? So feel free to close your eyes. And we're simply going to take a deep breath in and out. You can do this for a few times. In your throat. Breathe in, counting 1 on the in-breath. 1. And then when you breathe out, count 2. Breathe in with your nose and out with your mouth, or as you prefer. And do that to a count of 10. And if you notice your thoughts wandering around or not paying attention to the breath, simply bring it back and say, you noticed, that's a thought. Then bring it back to noticing your breath. And once you reach 10, you can start again at 1. simply and is that it's very difficult because building any habit is difficult, and you don't really get that sense of reward with mindfulness, with meditation. You just sit there, you feel good, but it's not the same as eating a bar of chocolate, right? So anyway, you don't go there, do one push-up, and say, hell yeah, no. You go there, do that one push-up, go back to the next exercise. It's the same with any habits that you want to build, because the neurons in our brain need to get strengthened. Basically, this neuron, or the two neurons in your brain or in your body that are being connected when you're bringing your awareness to your thoughts and then back to your breath, that's like a mental push-up. That's how you can look at it. And when you're doing that, the neurons are firing between each other and they're saying, oh, okay, we're doing this action. And it's very weak right now because you haven't practiced that much. But over time, the more you do it on a daily basis or even every other day, this neuron connection will become stronger and stronger and stronger until you make it almost naturally, like brushing your teeth. But even brushing your teeth is not natural. You still need to think about it, but it's very easy to go do it. You don't have that much resistance, right? When you go brush your teeth, you're like, okay, bam, toothpaste, water in your mouth. And that's how easy it is. There's no, oh my God, what are people going to think about me if I brush my teeth? No, no, no. Or there's no, oh, I'm wasting my time. No, you know you need to do it. And there's so little resistance because you've done it so much. And to give you another point, why it's actually so easy to brush your teeth is because our brain loves the familiar, because it's done it so many times that it's so easy to it to just fire those neurons together and say, that was easy. These neuron connections are so strong that it's the electromagnetic, whatever, the electricity, I guess you could call it, fires through super simply. And you know what else is super easy for your brain to recognize? Your name. Why do you think that if you're in a super busy restaurant or in a party and you hear your name, that's the only thing that can stand out and break through the noise? It's because it's the most familiar thing to your mind. Have you ever thought of that? The reason that's anything can, like, your name is the most attractive thing to your ears is because it's the most familiar thing. You've been trained since you're a baby to hear your name. And when I hear Oskar in a restaurant or in a party, my brain goes, whoop, that's the most important thing to me because I know it, and it must be something important because it's so easy for my brain to recognize what that is. So right now, your brain might not be recognizing what mindfulness is actually and how does it work, because it's kind of hard for it to put those two neurons together. Of course, oversimplifying it, maybe there's not just one neuron, there's fucking a ton. But you get the point. It's about repetition. It's about making your brain comfortable with it and familiar with it. And then over time, That's fantastic. I would, how you can do it. There are so many ways to try meditation. You can do it through apps, just apps like Headspace, Calm. There are tons of YouTube videos on meditation. But when measuring and progressing towards a goal, what's really key to seeing the progress is actually being able to measure it. And so how are you going to measure your progress? Is it maybe through journaling? Oh, I had less negative thoughts today. Or is it going to be through simply attending a 5-day challenge and say, okay, I'm going to start here. I'm going to learn a lot more these 5 days. And I'm going to see which methods I prefer to implement.